In today's world, retro gaming is becoming more and more popular. As the years go by, it keeps increasing in value. A lot of it has to do with large collectors collecting a lot, and then others who realize they want to rebuy their childhood, essentially. Now, it's important to know that when you're buying these consoles or game cartridges, that a lot of them can be reproduced in fakes. So it's important to identify them. Sometimes you want to sell what you have, and sometimes you want to buy. Either or, you need to know the value that you are purchasing. For example, in particular, there are NES cartridges and Super Nintendo cartridges. Sometimes you can tell right off the bat without opening them that it's fake due to the plastic, if you're very familiar with it. And so you're like, okay, this one's fake, this one is not. However, sometimes it's not so apparent. Now, visually, they may look similar. However, they are completely different. Sometimes it can be the plastic. Sometimes you can see on the back there will be no Nintendo logo on there, on the fakes. And sometimes they do, but it's not in the correct font. So it's important to have a reference of what is real and what is fake. Sometimes the labels are slightly different. The labels are glossed on some and some are not. There are specific key things. There's also the original Nintendo logo. Those are apparent. These are folks who have taught me how to identify these things. But European will be circular, and then the US will be like so. But if they don't have those, you can tell that they're fake. Now, specifically with the Super Nintendo, you can see the smaller one is the fake one, the larger one is the real one. And there are key differences. Sometimes there's a specific way in which the batteries are attached into the cartridge, and sometimes there are additional soldering or materials like tin versus copper that is used, because Nintendo will use copper, which is a higher quality, which they used and still use. But back then, well, now, basically you're using tin. So that's how you can identify it. Sometimes copies can be fairly accurate, but there's always some slip up in it, and that's how you're able to identify it. Now that's for SNES. So the Super Nintendo, I chose this console because I'm assuming that most have seen one or know of one. It was one of the more popular ones. Another one is Game Boy. Who doesn't know Game Boy Color? Can you identify which one is fake? It's pretty obvious if you've ever played Pokemon. Obviously, it's the one with the gray cartridge, because anyone who's ever owned yellow version knows that the cartridge is typically all yellow, and it's true with most other games. Now, another thing, again, different soldering. You have like those little weird things that they add in. It's a no-go. And like I said with the battery, it will often say what type of battery is on the actual cartridge of the Game Boys, on the Game Boy Color games. So you can actually see, oh, yeah, this one identifies it. This one will not. It will simply be a battery soldered on, and that is it. And sometimes it's a different battery wattage. Now, with all this being said, could you identify which one is real in here? Now, it's harder through picture, I know, but the real answer with these is really none of these are real, because even when you open them, there are deficiencies. There's either one thing or another that's not present inside of a Game Boy Advance cartridge, which is similar with the Game Boy cartridge. The real ones will have a very specific battery. It won't have that goopy stuff in it. And there will be the specific font of Nintendo, and it'll have the copyright symbol. The fake ones will not. It will put Nintendo, but it won't be the same font. And that's how you can identify a lot of these, is mainly opening them up, which is why when you go to buy these things, you need two things. You need a tri-wing screwdriver, which is, it's like a triangle. You want to get this one. This one's more for a Game Boy Advance. And then the 3.8 millimeter Game Bit screwdriver. That one will open up the Game Boy Colors and the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo 64. It'll open up a lot of Nintendo games. So you want to keep these on you when you're purchasing them, and you also want to take a peek look to see what you already own. Maybe someone's already given you something that is not profitable if you're looking to sell, but that way you can be honest in selling. That way the next person who owns it and takes care of it knows that they have the genuine thing. Thank you.